PowerPoint, it's just going to be a little bit small, and so you guys won't really be able to see it. My name is Julia, and I appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of time to talk to you. The subject that I'm going to be talking about is keeping a caller calm in a calm situation. Like I kind of explained, I work for 911 dispatch. And a big part of that is taking emergency calls. A lot of the time your callers are in a hysterical state, and it's difficult to get important information if you can't keep your caller calm. So it doesn't just relate to emergency communications. Kind of helpful information if you work in a telecommunications job, even dealing with like angry customers or anything like that. These things will kind of help you calm people down a little bit, or really dealing with anyone in an emergency situation. So as I kind of explained, I worked for about 2 years, 911 dispatch. You start off just taking calls. And everybody constitutes something different as an emergency. So you have the 9-year-old who is left home alone, who's calling because there's a spider in the bathroom, and that's an emergency. Or the lady who just found out that her dog had been bitten by another dog, that's an emergency. And then there's a 14-year-old who just witnessed somebody being shot, and that's an emergency. And everyone handles it differently. So the first, probably most important part of keeping these people calm is to hold your own composure. Because if I'm freaking out about how they're reacting, it's not going to keep them calm. Aside from that, there's a technique called repetitive persistence that works really well that I'll talk a little bit about and explain. And then basically what not to do to work them up more and kind of feed off of their emotions. Like I mentioned, people feed off of your emotions. So if I raise my voice, they're going to get the hint that I'm frustrated, and it's going to make them frustrated. So I don't want to make them frustrated when they're already in a situation where they've got no idea what to do. They're calling me for help. Aside from that, kind of keeping my own composure is going to help give them reassurance and things like that. And if they're not feeding off of my emotions, then they'll feel more calm about what's going on. Keeping a calm, consistent tone and speed is really important, because again, if I raise my voice, it's going to make them feel like I'm frustrated or like I'm not listening to what they're saying. Speaking really slow and enunciating, and that's hard for a lot of people, especially starting off. You're starting off and you get in a situation and you're talking about 100 miles an hour because you're trying to make sure that you're not forgetting anything. So that really slow, calm, and enunciating is very important. Entering your information correctly as it's given to you. Our call process, we ask for the address, we ask the caller to repeat the address, what city they're in, what phone number, what's their name, and then I ask them what happened. So people are already frustrated when you're asking them all of these questions, and then finally they get to tell you what's happened. So if I'm entering the information incorrectly to begin with, they're not going to get as frustrated if they think I'm incompetent, because I have to repeat the question over and over again. Repetitive persistence is a technique that's used basically where you repeat the same phrase over and over again in the same tone, same question, verbatim. We use the same phrase verbatim because if I'm using different words, first off, it's not really going to occur that I'm asking the same thing, but they also may get confused about what I'm asking. It lets them know that what I'm asking them is important, and hopefully I'm going to get a good answer from them. You always provide a request or an action and a reason for the action. If I'm telling them, I need you to do this so that I have a correct address to send help to you, they're more likely to realize, oh, it's really important that I give you this information. So basically, it's the same phrase repetitively, and then the same tone of voice is really important. Because if I'm saying, okay, I need you to give me an address over and over again, but I'm getting, I need an address, I need an address, then it's not the same. They're not going to realize that I'm asking the same question over and over again, and it may not show them the importance of what I'm actually asking of them. And then, again, if I'm using the same calm tone of voice, it's going to help to keep me calm as well. If I'm telling myself, okay, slow, enunciate, keep it calm, it's going to help me to stay calm in the situation as well when there's all this going on, and I'm not getting an address and somebody's not breathing. So, really good, helpful hint there. And then what not to do, telling people to calm down and take a deep breath just frustrates them. It's something that we see a lot, but if I tell you to calm down, you're going to feel like I'm not empathizing with you, I'm not listening to you, I'm not understanding what's going on, or I may be being insensitive. Also, pet names, like, it's okay, sweetie, things like that. Some people that's comforting, other people it's like, I'm disrespecting you, I'm looking down on you. So using the caller's first name, or if it's kind of an older generation and they prefer Mr. or Mrs., what they prefer to be called. Don't raise your voice or your tone. Raising your voice at them is just going to make the situation worse, and don't argue. A lot of the time people will get in arguments and it's just, you're not going to get anywhere with an argument. Probably the most important don't do is don't make promises to these people, because if we're doing chest compressions on your 1-year-old and I tell you it's going to be okay and then it's not okay, not only does that put liability on me, but I've given you false hope and things like that. So no promises. So basically overall, kind of thinking out of the box in these situations, what you might think, telling somebody you need to calm down, you need to take a deep breath, things like that. But kind of thinking outside of the box is really helpful. Again, it can kind of be used anywhere where people are in a hysterical state or an emergent situation. And it really helps to maintain their dignity and respect for them if I'm trying to empathize with them and not tell them, like, I need you to do this over and over again, but in a need way. My goal in 911 is basically to get an address and what's going on so I can send the right help. And by following these tips, basically, that's what I'm able to do. So, thank you guys.